Victim's View, a show produced by the Solicitor General's Office. I'm Carmen Smith, the Solicitor General. The Solicitor General's Office prosecutes misdemeanor cases in state court. Unfortunately, there are individuals who target seniors, resulting in loss of money, the loss of possessions, and the loss of life and abuse of seniors in their own homes. The Fulton County Police Department has a special services unit that provides information on various safety issues. Today, we're talking with Corporal Maureen Smith with the Fulton County Police Department about protecting senior citizens. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, just to give us a little background, could you just tell us about the Fulton County Police Department? A lot of people don't know that we have a police department. What's your jurisdiction?
The Fulton County Police Department's jurisdiction is the unincorporated areas of South Fulton County. We police those areas that are not incorporated into a city. So you may live in Atlanta, College Park, East Point, but it is not considered a city and it's not incorporated into a city, so we would police those areas.
And is this the same as, say, the City of Atlanta Police Department, or do they have their own police departments?
The City of Atlanta has their own police department. However, there are some areas in Atlanta that are not incorporated and not a city, and that is where the police department, the Fulton County Police Department, we police those areas.
And I understand that the Fulton County Police Department, the headquarters, is located in South Fulton?
Yes,
is that correct?
It's located in unincorporated South Fulton in Atlanta, 5440 Fulton Industrial Boulevard. We also have a precinct at 5615 Old National Highway in unincorporated College Park, and we also have a precinct at 4701 Fulton Industrial Boulevard, which is also unincorporated in Atlanta.
And also, I think that you mentioned to me that these various units, you're a member of one of those specialized units, correct?
Yes.
That you have within the department. Could you tell us some other kinds of activities that the Fulton County Police have? Do you have other special units? And
yes, we do. I'm in the Special Services Division, and I'm in the Crime Prevention Unit. The Special Services Division has special services and does special services for the community. One of them is the Traffic Unit, which is a unit that investigates serious fatality or serious injury accidents. And they also provide services to communities when they're asking for us to help them with complaints on traffic enforcement, such as speeding in their neighborhoods or anyone that's violating traffic law in the neighborhood. We also have the library unit. The library unit goes out to the library and keeps the library community safe, as well as the staff. And we also provide services for the children, the McGruff Crime Dog. We go out and teach the children on stranger danger and anti-bullying presentations as well. And we also teach the community in the library about crime prevention and senior safety. There's also the Crime Prevention Unit, which is the unit I'm involved in, and the Community Policing Unit. We promote community involvement with the police department by starting neighborhood watches and helping activate neighborhood watches throughout the community. We go out to the schools and teach the GREAT program, which is a program that teaches children on how to make positive choices, and that is taught in the elementary and the middle school level.
for example, if one of the neighborhood associations wanted you to come out to speak to them, how would they go about contacting you?
They would call our unit, Special Services. I can give you that number. It's 404-612-5321. And if anyone wanted someone in Special Services to come out and talk about crime prevention or personal safety, we'd be glad to do that.
Well, that's a wonderful service to offer. I know a lot of our viewers probably didn't know about that, and I assume that with the schools, do you have any ongoing relationships with the schools just in South Fulton, or is any school in Fulton County?
It is primarily unincorporated South Fulton is what we deal with, but we do sometimes go out into other areas. If our chief approves us to go out, we definitely will go out. She's very good at that because she is very interested in getting the community very involved with the police department and developing that partnership. So we do go out from time to time.
I know that she's a great advocate for victims of crime and that she does really believe in community policing. So that's a great thing for Fulton County. Certainly.
Yes, it is. Community involvement is very important because without the community, we could not combat this crime. We need their help, and we need them to understand that that involvement with the police department is very essential.
Well, let's talk about you for a minute. How long have you been with the police department?
I've been with the police department for over 10 years in the
And-
crime prevention unit.
And primarily in the crime prevention unit?
I started on the street, probably 4 years, and then I went on to the crime prevention unit and special services.
So for our viewers, when you say on the street, I know as a prosecutor, I know what that means. What does that mean to them?
Patrol. I started out in patrol on the morning watch, and then I went to the day watch and was on patrol then.
Okay. And so since you've been with that unit, what are your special responsibilities with the unit?
One of my primary responsibilities is going out into the communities and educating the community on how not to become a victim of crime. We talk about burglaries and how to prevent that and how to prevent those crimes of opportunity that people really don't understand that most crimes that occur in neighborhoods are crimes of opportunity, and they can be prevented. So I am responsible for going out into the community and establishing that partnership and teaching them how not to become victims. So I go out to various churches, the schools, and the HOAs and the homeowners neighborhood watches and talk about those crimes and prevention.
Well, I'm sure that must keep you very busy as far as getting calls and invitations. Would you say that that is something that you welcome and follow up on whenever you get a call for that kind of information?
Absolutely. We encourage the community to call us at the number I gave you so that we can help them become victimless. It's very important, and also to give them a hand in the police process. That is so important that they provide us with information about some of the crimes that are occurring, because that is when we can combat this crime, is getting the information from them. So we need their help and their support, so we embrace that community involvement.
Let me ask you something. When it comes to things like suspected gang activity and that kind of thing, would you be involved in any of that?
Yes, we do go out to the communities and talk to the communities about some of the characteristics that they should look for if they're suspecting gang involvement in their communities. We go out and educate them on what to look for and what to call us about, what to report, how to report it. They can remain anonymous if they want to. You don't have to tell us your name. You can remain anonymous, and we'll go out and investigate that activity.
And just for the sake of identifying what unincorporated Fulton would be, could you give us some parameters? You mentioned Fulton Industrial Boulevard. So is that one of the boundaries that you would say for the south side to down to what, Old National?
Yes, it's any area in the county that is not incorporated, that is not incorporated into a city. So it's all the unincorporated areas in South Fulton.
But you still, as a police department, you have the same training as other sworn officers.
Yes.
I take it. Mm-hmm. And your duties, again, for South Fulton would be where the unincorporated areas are. But what kind of crimes are that you've seen mostly in South Fulton that you deal with?
We deal with many crimes in South Fulton, just as any police department, Atlanta, College Park, any police department. We deal with burglaries, motor vehicle thefts, theft from motor vehicles, gang activity. We deal with shoplifting when it comes to businesses, and we deal with crimes of many opportunities when it comes to assaults and armed robberies of businesses and persons.
Could you give us just a general number of how large the entire police department is?
Well, we have approximately 150 police officers, I believe. I'm not sure of the count, but we have over 100 officers.
Well, considering how large the area is, that is a kind of small number for all the work that you do. And I know as a citizen of resident of South Fulton, I appreciate what you've done in that regard. But again, I just wanted to make sure that our viewers understood that you also can talk to them before crime happens, that the preventive piece is so important to the communities, and that they can call you and ask you to come out and speak with them, meet with them, and talk about their concerns.
Absolutely.
And that's on a regular basis. So it's not that they're asking for anything extra. They're not dialing 911, but it's something that is a service that you provide within the department.
Yes, and we're asking and promoting that partnership. Make that phone call to us if you have any questions about anything. We will help you out with that.
Well, in this day of technology, can they go to a website, or do they just go to the regular Fulton County website?
They can go to fultoncountypolice.org, and you'll have be able to click on any of the links to our community policing department, and you can also look at some of the statistics if you need to.
Statistics on?
Crime in the areas.
Oh, really? So you
Yes.
would identify the specific number of crimes, such as if there was a number of burglaries in a certain area, would it be able to give us that kind of information?
Well, you can call my office for that information, but you can also go to fultoncounty.org to do a extra check and patrol if you're out of the community or out of your home for whatever reason. If you're on vacation, you can call and request for an extra check and patrol on that site as well.
Oh, excellent. That would be great. I didn't even know you had that. So
Yes, we
that's
do.
great. Right. That's a great thing that you do.
Yes.
Well, we're going to take a quick break, but stay tuned, because when we come back, we're going to learn more about the Fulton County Police Department. Welcome back to Victim's View. I'm talking to Corporal Maureen Smith with the Fulton County Police Department. Corporal Smith, let's focus a little more about the situations where we have some of our seniors who are living alone in their homes, and they perhaps are being targeted because of their situation. I know that when I get home from work every day, I get tons of telephone calls from unsolicited people that I would suspect may not have my best interests at heart. What do you tell seniors about what they should do when they get these kinds of phone calls?
Well, the rule of thumb, and what I tell my seniors is, if it sounds too good to be true, then it probably is. And seniors are more targeted for financial than they are any other crime. Although those other crimes like burglary and different assaults and thefts are still prevalent, but seniors are more so victims of financial fraud, financial identity, and things of that sort. For some reason, people think that seniors have a nest egg, so to speak, and they have money saved up, and it's either in the bank or in their home or on them. So they are victims of con games, financial fraud, financial identity, telemarketing, get-rich schemes, things of that sort.
When they ask them for things like their Social Security numbers or their bank statements, what would you advise them to do?
Do not give anyone your information over the phone. That is absolutely a no-no. These guys are very good at getting your information, and they prey on seniors because they believe that they're trusting and they're kind and they're going to do it. So I always tell seniors, whatever you do, hang up the phone, say no thank you, and just hang up the phone. Do not give anyone your information, because they're very good at it. They practice and practice and practice, and they are very successful.
Yes, they are. And usually they're very polite, and some of our citizens are equally as polite, and they will listen to the entire spiel and perhaps get to that point before they realize that it's some kind of scheme or something that they're trying to get away with.
Absolutely.
So hanging up the phone is absolutely the right thing to do.
Yes,
correct?
hang up the phone and do not give them any information at all. Don't let them persuade you to sign any paperwork or tell you that you need to do this now, or you need to give money. You have to give a certain amount of money in order to get something. That is never the truth. So just believe that if it sounds a little bit too good, to be true, then it is.
One story I heard recently was that some people were acting as though they were from police departments and calling and saying that if they didn't pay this ticket by giving them cash or a cash card, that they would be in trouble. Now, does the police ever call and ask people over the phone to give money for tickets or?
Absolutely not. And so we encourage that they just hang up and immediately call the police and just jot that number down. And also don't pick up the phone, and remember 900 numbers. Let the answering service pick it up, and then you write the number down and give us a call so that we can investigate it. But don't engage in any conversation. But we do not call and ask you to pay your ticket over the phone.
Ever.
No, never.
Well, in those situations that, let's say people are going from house to house saying they'll perform certain services. They'll rake your yard, they'll clean out your gutters. What is a person, that, not just seniors, that anybody should do when they're approached by some of these folks?
Well, don't open the door. Absolutely do not open the door. Speak to them behind your door and let them know that you have a service already. If you feel a little different about them, suspicious about them, let them know you have service. No, I don't want it. Thank you. Move on. Just remember to assess as many of those 5 senses that we have. If it just doesn't seem right, just doesn't feel right to you, then don't let them in the house. Don't engage in conversation and close the door, or don't speak to them with the door open, and just let them go on.
Well, unfortunately, as a prosecutor, I've heard some citizens say that when they're there alone, they're retired, they don't really have any place to go. When those folks come, it's like a social event. They get to talk about themselves, and sometimes provide too much information, such as they're living there alone.
Yes.
Which is something that I wouldn't advise anyone saying.
No, do not give them any information about you. And I always tell the community, the senior community, to get involved in your community and with the police department so that you'll know what types of crimes are out there and know what's going on around you. That helps a lot. Information and knowledge about the different con games. The oldest game is the pigeon drop.
Which
they come up to you, two people come up to you and they work together, and they tell you they found this large sum of money, and that if you put up earnest money with it, or good faith money with it, we'll put it together and then we'll split the entire amount of money. And they believe that. And a lot of seniors do not report these crimes because they're embarrassed, and they don't want us to know that happened, or a family member, because financial responsibility can be taken from them, and that's something that they don't want. Because some seniors have been things have been taken away already, and then when we take away that financial responsibility, it's even harder. But they don't report it, but we need them to report it every time it happens.
And for those individuals who are just walking the neighborhood, you mentioned Neighborhood Watch.
Yes.
I know in my neighborhood we have a Neighborhood Watch, and we know who's in the community, who lives there, what kind of cars they drive, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Would you advise the Neighborhood Watch to have a true network so that those folks who are home and are able to watch the streets would know that?
Absolutely. And look out for the seniors. I suggest that in the Neighborhood Watch. And seniors are the best neighborhood watchers because they're home all the time. A nosy neighbor is the best neighbor. And I recommend Neighborhood Watch and getting that communication so that you can look out for one another. It's the most cost-effective program when it comes to crime prevention. Because truly, what does it cost to look out for your neighbor? And that's exactly what it is. It's a very good preventive tool, and we suggest that you start one.
Well, another aspect of it that's very unsettling for our office is when it's the family members who come into the seniors' homes and take advantage of them. And we always try to get evidence to support whatever happens. So when you mention nosy neighbor, that reminds me of what we need as witnesses for folks who said, who would say, oh, we haven't seen them out in the yard,
Mm-hmm.
But we saw their grandson's car over there
Mm-hmm.
repeatedly, or the grandson only shows up when certain checks are coming to the house, for example. And we just wanted to get the word out it's nothing wrong with being a nosy neighbor.
Nothing at all. If you see your neighbor, your senior neighbor that walks the street, most seniors have a pattern, and they might walk, around the block a couple times, or in the garden planting. If you don't see them for a amount of time, you should be concerned. That's what a neighborhood watch is, just concerned neighbors, together trying to combat crime and trying to get to know each other and care for one another. So give us a call if you suspect that your senior has not come outside for a period of time, or when you see them, they may be unraveled or something may be not quite right with them. That's what a neighborhood watch should do. Call each other and call the police and let us know what's happening. A nosy neighbor is how we get our crime solved is by the community and neighbors being nosy.
Well, and now that you mention it, we have a lot of new neighborhoods being built, especially in South Fulton. And that maybe they want to start a neighborhood watch. How would they start one of those? And you call you to
Yes,
help? For, okay.
absolutely. In unincorporated South Fulton, it would be the Fulton County Police Department, and the number is 404-612-3001. And ask us about starting and helping your neighborhood watch get started. It may be inactive for whatever reason, and we help get it back activated so that you can start the crime prevention process.
And you would continue to work with those neighbors?
Yes, I work with them every day.
Well, that's good to know, because as our community grows, let us speak. People who live in their homes for a long period of time and they don't want to leave those homes, we want them to feel safe in those homes. So, what are some of the safety tips that you would share with us today?
Well, one is just getting to know your neighbors and getting to be familiar with your surroundings, and never give the opportunity or the desire for the criminals to come to your neighborhood. Call us if there are abandoned vehicles in the neighborhood, because if you leave an abandoned vehicle in the neighborhood, the criminal thinks that they can also leave stolen vehicles there. So always report abandoned vehicles, suspicious activity, or have the police department come out and talk to you about some of the crimes that are occurring in your neighborhood. I mentioned to you earlier about statistics. You can call our office and get your statistics, the crime stats in your neighborhood, so that we can help you to solve some of these, you can help us solve some of the crimes, and you'll know what's going on in your neighborhood. So we suggest that you do that with your neighborhood watch, and just investing in good solid doors, front and back, because these burglars, which is one of the crimes that happens in neighborhoods much prevalent, are burglaries. We need to give them a hard time. They shouldn't be able to easily access our home, so we need to make it hard for them by getting burglar doors in the front and the back, and securing the windows, and making sure that there is an easy target at your home.
What was also a surprise to me is the number of burglaries that take place during the day.
Yes, burglaries occur during the day because the burglar knows that we're not home. So we need to make our homes look as if we are home when we're not. And we need to identify through Neighborhood Watch who's at home, who's retired, who's working for the home, and just those are the persons that will be the extra eyes and ears on the neighborhood. So the best police in the neighborhood is the neighbors.
And unfortunately, I know that everybody can't dial 911 every time they suspect something, but a neighborhood watch system, I think, is one of the perfect things that you could do to improve the safety of your own individual neighborhoods.
Absolutely. It's a very good preventive tool, because the burglars and the criminals are going nowhere. So we have to establish crime prevention and just looking out for one another and making sure that you communicate. That is why most neighborhood watches don't keep going, is because there's a lack of communication. But with the technology and just the different things that we can do to keep in contact, we need to start learning that and incorporate it in the neighborhood watch.
Even emailing each other.
Email chain, yes. You know, and some of the social networks that are very secure, you can use some of those. And just calling, the phone tree is good. It's still the old-fashioned way, but write the phone numbers and put them on the refrigerator. And if something's just not right with your senior citizens in the neighborhood or anyone, pick up the phone and call that next door neighbor and keep it going.
That's great. I think those are very good tips for all of us.
Oh, yes.
I want to thank Officer Smith for being here today. I'll be back with some final thoughts about protecting our senior citizens. It is unfortunate that we live in a society that preys on our senior citizens instead of honoring and respecting them. In addition to enforcing the laws that protect all of us, the officers of the Fulton County Police Department reach out to the community to inform seniors about potential scams so that they will not become victims of crime. I want to thank Corporal Maureen Smith for being here today and representing the hardworking officers in the Fulton County Police Department. Thank you for watching Victim View. We'll see you next time.